everyone, welcome back to this channel. My name is Sarah. In today's video I wanted to show you my favorite makes from 2022 and then talk to you a little bit about my plans for 2023, including my big project. I'm actually filming this on New Year's Eve, and so it's not quite the new year for me, but I know that by the time this video comes out it will be the new year for you, so I wish you a very happy new year and I hope you have many great things ahead of you in 2023. Maybe sewing, for example. I was actually sick over the Christmas holiday. I had a bit of a cold leading up to it, and then I spent Christmas Day just stuck in bed, not able to get up, which was not fun, but nothing serious, and I'm feeling much better now. But I think that I was definitely doing a lot of running around and errands and appointments right before the holiday, and we had a bit of a cold spell in Paris for about 2 weeks where temperatures stayed around freezing, and if you saw in the montage that I made in the beginning of the video, we get a little bit of snow, and that was just for a few hours, really. We don't get snow very often, especially not in December in Paris, and some years it doesn't snow at all, so everybody was very excited, and I got some video in too on my way to work. 2022 was a great year for me. I'm really happy about all the experiences I got to have, and I feel very lucky and thankful. There were 5 weddings to go to, and those were all very joyful events. I was able to travel to Seoul for the second time for work, and every single time I go to that city, I discover more and more about the culture and have a fantastic time, and it's just a fascinating city, and I highly recommend it. I love going there. I started this YouTube channel, which has been a journey in itself, and learning how to film myself, talk to a camera, and edit. And it's fascinating, and I'm excited to continue and get better at it. And then I also started knitting, and this is something that I never thought I would get into, especially because it's very difficult to learn on one's own. But I went through a period from about January to April where I didn't really want to make anything. I was kind of stuck creatively. I was very tired mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I just wanted to sit and relax and do something sort of meditative and repetitive, and knitting was just the thing. And so I ended up making a few projects this year that I'm very proud of that aren't quite there yet because I'm just starting out, but I'm excited to improve that skill as well. And then I admit I bought this house that I'm in with my partner a little over a year ago, and we've been slowly settling into it, buying furniture, decorating, and getting used to the space. And I think that's part of the reason I felt so tired at the beginning of the year, is that I just didn't feel comfortable in my new space. And now I do, and I've got this great sewing corner, and I feel much better here and at home, and I'm able to recuperate. And so I'm happy with what we've done with this home, and I find that it's a lot easier to get motivated creatively when I feel rested at home. I have narrowed down my selection to 5 makes that I am proud of from 2022, either makes that have become staples in my wardrobe that I wear all the time, or makes that I'm really, really proud of. And the first one is actually the Closet Core Patterns Plateau joggers that I finished around the beginning of July, and I've been wearing these joggers almost every day. Usually around the house I don't wear regular clothes. I wear sweatpants or pajamas and t-shirts and stretchy warm things, and the Plateau joggers have been essential in this winter season, especially when we had that cold spell. I usually layer it over thermal leggings, and they keep me toasty warm. The big pockets are so practical. The wide elastic is really comfortable around the waist. It's not as much of a high rise as I thought it would be. It's not quite around the hips, but around the high hips. But it's actually a very comfortable position for these pants to be in, I think, especially because the elastic is very wide, and so it doesn't squeeze too much. The elastic cuffs that I chose to add, because there are a few variations on this pattern, to the ankle, because I was planning on wearing these as warm-ups for whenever I do ballet at home. When I'm warming up for a ballet class, I especially like to keep my hips warm because I sometimes have a little bit of pain in my right hip if I'm not careful, and so I like that I can lift it up over my knees and just have it bunched up around my knees, kind of just like warm-up pants, so that if I'm starting to get toasty in there, I can still keep it on and keep it around my hips versus all the way down to the ankle. I made my joggers in a polycotton fleeceback fabric from Minerva, and it's part of their Minerva Core range fabrics, and they actually sent me this fabric in exchange for an article for their website. So if you want to read all of the details about this project, you can find it in my profile, which I will link below in the description. I really love this fabric. It's the perfect fabric for a sweatshirt or sweatpants. I highly recommend it. It didn't fall apart. A lot of times polyester fabrics can kind of fluff or fall apart in the machine or when you cut it, and this didn't do that at all, and it washes really well. It dries really quickly because it's got a high polyester content, but it doesn't pill very much, not so far. I'm sure it will with time because no fabric doesn't pill, or at least no fluffy fleece fabric doesn't pill over time. But so far it's still just as soft after at least 5 to 10 washes and I'm really happy with it. The second project is actually a knitting project, and this is the Ladies Raglan Pullover by Jane Richmond Designs. And I made this actually during that period I mentioned from about January to April when I was just not into sewing. I was really exhausted and I just wanted to try this, and it's knit in a circle or on circular needles, and I find that fascinating, a garment that doesn't have any seams. And so I picked this one, and there are a few flaws with it because it's my first ever project. This pattern features an increase around the hips, but on me I think the increase was a little bit too much, and so I get a bit of a bubble effect around my hips, although if I pull it all the way down it doesn't do that as much, so I think it's not a big deal. But I think that you can see the sleeves are a little bit too short, or there's a ladder going down the middle, or this is my first time working with double pointed needles as well, and I think I much prefer now the magic loop method. But you can see a few ladders down the sleeves as well. I also tried to weave in the ends by knitting 2 strands together whenever I changed my ball of yarn, and so you can kind of see that from the right side, which is not great. But I really love this sweater. I wear it all the time, especially at home when I want to be warm. So with the plateau joggers, I wear this over a thermal sort of long sleeves shirt so that it doesn't touch my skin, because it does irritate my skin quite a lot. And I wear this all the time at home. So even though it's a bit flawed and I usually don't wear it for out, like to work for example, or out, I love wearing this around the house and it's very, very comfortable. I made this sweater in the Sandnes Garn Alpaca wool. It's a worsted weight wool in the white colorway, although you can see here it's very off-white and I'm trying to figure that out. I love wearing white and I want to make myself white sweaters, but white with wool is difficult to obtain. All in all, even with its little flaws from being my very first full-on knitting project, I am very proud of this and I wear it all the time at home, and I highly recommend this pattern. So those are my 2 favorite garments to wear at home and for lounging around the house, especially in the wintertime. Now I'd like to take you back to the summertime when it was warm and there was sunlight. And I was wearing one of my favorite garments in the world, which is a summer dress. And so my very favorite summer dress of 2022 was definitely the Sovi dress in this blue linen viscose blend fabric that I bought from Pretty Mercery. And I made it actually for my birthday, or not quite. I finished it right on time for my birthday in July when I went for a long weekend on the Normandy coast with my boyfriend and his family. And I got to wear it even though I looked a little bit silly at the car rest stops on the way. Definitely overdressed. And then I was also able to wear this dress for a wedding that took place at the end of August, and it was perfect for both occasions. It's not too casual, not too formal, and it kept me nice and cool. It was a lot of fun to wear and very, very comfortable. It features a wide elastic which doesn't squeeze too much at the waist, and big pockets, and the neckline is not too low and doesn't gape too much if I put some double stick tape along the neckline, and it's bra strap friendly. And so I had a lot of fun wearing it this summer, and I can't wait to wear it again next summer. The only difficult detail about this dress is pressing it. So whenever I wash it, I usually let it air dry and then I press it, and it's difficult to press with the gathers and the waist elastic especially, because you don't want to flatten the gathers around either area. And so it does take me a little bit of time every time I wash it, and I don't really look forward to that, but that is the only downside of this dress. I love it. One of my favorite projects this year is actually one of the most simple projects that I did, and it is the white linen sienna skirt that I made over the summer right before leaving on summer vacation. And you can see it in action in my Brittany vacation video that I made during my summer vacation this year, because I wore it all the time. It's something that I'd been wanting to make for a long time, and I finally got to it, and really I'm kicking myself for not doing it earlier because it's so easy to wear. It goes with a lot of my summer tops, and I wore it all the time this summer. If you would like to see this skirt and the blue linen Sovi dress in more detail, I'll link the 2 videos where you see them a lot more in detail if you're interested, where you can see me happily frolicking in these 2 garments because it's summertime and I'm happy. The biggest project of 2022 was definitely my Bella Loves Patterns Traveler coat, which you can see in my video about all of the winter and fall coats that I've made, because it's definitely my favorite in that one too, and I talk all about it, all the details, the fabric used and everything, so if you want to see more details, I'll link that video as well. But this coat has definitely been my favorite thing to wear this winter. I wear it every day, it keeps me cozy warm, and I'm really happy with it. It definitely took me a long time to finish, and at some points it was a little bit daunting and overwhelming just because even just cutting it out took a very, very long time, but I'm really proud of myself. I've learned a lot of different tailoring techniques through the instructions because the instructions are excellent. I highly recommend this pattern, and it is definitely my favorite project of 2022. And it will accompany me even more in 2023 because, true to its name, it is going to be traveling with me. I'm actually heading, and this is one of my big projects for 2023 as well, I'm heading to Taipei and Taiwan soon at the end of January for the Taipei Book Fair for work. And then soon after that, straight after that actually, I am flying to Tokyo to meet with Japanese publishing professionals, and I'm really, really excited. I have been to Tokyo before and I love that city, and I'm really excited to go back. I will definitely try and film a little bit so that you can come along with me to these two places because it's going to be amazing, I think. I'm really excited. And I've taken a few days off on either side, so a few days in Taipei and then a few days in Tokyo. So in total, I'm working for about a week, but then I also have a week of off time where I can explore the two places because who knows if I'll be able to go back or ever go back in my life. And so whenever I go very far for work, I do like to take off a day or two, usually 2 or 3 days to explore. And it's definitely something I love about my job, that it permits me to do this, and it's definitely something in my life that I really appreciate being able to travel, and perhaps I'll tell you a little bit more in these videos when I do travel, but traveling is something I really, really love, especially to faraway places and cultures and languages. It's something that invigorates me, and so I will definitely make sure to take you along with me and share that with you. Thinking forward to being creative in 2023, I do have a few projects that I'd like to get to, such as, for example, I would like to make a second pair of jeans in a lighter wash than the Closet Core Patterns ginger jeans that I made a few years ago in a dark wash denim. And I'm thinking of the Helen's Closet Brooks jeans, for example, and that's something that I'd really like to get to this year. Or, for example, I'd like to make a new bathing suit. I have 3 Sophie swimsuits from Closet Core Patterns again that I really love, but they're high-waisted, and I'm thinking of trying out either something that's a little bit more low-waisted or low-cut for the bottoms, or also a one-piece because I don't have any of those either. And so I'm thinking of maybe experimenting with different bathing suit patterns. I also would like to make a pair of shorts, or maybe 2, because I don't have any shorts. The shorts that I made a few years ago, they don't fit very well anymore, and so I would like to experiment with that for future summer vacations especially. And then I have a few projects that I have in mind in general, and these are projects that I've had in my head for a few years now, and that includes luxurious lingerie, for example. I have a cut of silk, of white silk, that is lingerie weight, and I want to make a luxurious nightgown for myself with lace. And that would be 2 different methods that I'd be experimenting with. I have sewn with silk before, but I've never done any lace applique before, and so that's something that I'd like to experiment with eventually. And then the second project that I have in mind is a blazer, but that's definitely been in my mind for a while, and it might have to wait a little bit longer because I do have a very big project coming up in 2023. So my big 2023 project that I've been hinting at for a while and that I haven't been able to share with you yet might actually eclipse all of the sewing projects that I have in my head, just because it's definitely going to take a lot of energy and time, and it's that in May I am getting married. My boyfriend and I are getting married. This is something that we've been planning for over a year now. We've been engaged since September 2021, and it's something that we've been talking about for years, and it's actually going to correspond just about with our 10th anniversary, and so I'm really excited. It's going to be an international wedding because I have family members traveling from the United States, and it's going to take place in the north of France where my fiance is from. And we've been working on this for a while, and it's an intense thing to work on, and that's why I've been running around, and that's probably why I got sick in December, is running around for different appointments in the cold. But it's a joyous project to work on. I'm really excited, and the reason I'm telling you especially is that I have decided to make my wedding dress. That's one of the reasons why I actually started this YouTube channel, is that I knew that I wanted to share that process with other people, just because when I was researching making my own wedding dress, which is something that I've had in my mind for years, I think I started researching this in 2018, and there aren't very many resources for how to make your own wedding dress. And any of the YouTube content or Instagram content or any creators that shared the process, it helped me out immensely. And so I want to give back and show this process myself, whether or not you want to make your own wedding dress or just in case it interests you, because I think it is kind of an interesting project to work on. I will not be making this wedding dress by myself because it's techniques and know-how that I don't have. And especially for the kind of dress that I want to make, I definitely needed some advice as to how to structure that, what kind of materials to use. And so I am actually working with Camille de Saint-Léger. She is an independent wedding dressmaker who used to be based in Paris and who is now based in Lille, which is lucky for me because that's actually where I'm getting married. So it's been easy going back and forth to see her. And she is helping me design my dress. She has made mock-ups of the design, and so I've seen her for a few fittings already, and we just validated the last mock-up, and so now she's going to write instructions for me and create a pattern and ship it to me so that I can get started. And I have her for advice if I have any questions or if I'm stuck on something. I can call her up, and it's been fantastic. I started following Camille on Instagram, and I'll link her profile below, a few years ago because she makes very, very beautiful wedding dresses. And then recently she launched an offer where she will help you make your own wedding dress. And so far it has been incredibly reassuring. She is very patient and kind, and it's been an honor working with her, and so I'm excited to share that process with you. I have been filming all along, and I won't be able to share this project with you right away, probably not until after the wedding, because my fiance watches this channel and so do a lot of the wedding guests. And so I want to keep it a secret for them, and so I'll probably give you little sneak peeks or things that won't spoil it, but I do want to keep it a surprise for them, and so it'll have to be a surprise for you as well, but I will definitely share that with you. I'm thinking of doing a series of videos just so that I can get into the details and it won't just be one kind of sped up version of the entire process, because this is a 6 to 8 month process. And so I'm thinking of splitting it up into different videos, such as how I figured out the design I wanted, and then the process of validating that design with Camille, fabric shopping, and then the process of making it. And I haven't started making it yet, so I'm a little bit nervous sharing this with you just because I don't know if it's going to go well. Wish me luck, and I'm really excited to share this project with you. I also have a few other sewing projects related to the wedding that I'd like to work on. For example, my photographer mentioned to think of something cute or pretty to wear for the preparations because she will be there to be taking pictures. And so I was thinking, ooh, that's why I want to get to this pretty nightgown, for example, in the silk. I'd like to make that, and then also a robe to wear, probably something a little bit warmer and not just something like silky and smooth, but something like a jacquard or a brocard fabric or something a bit stiffer to wear, because I think I'll be cold, because we have found a chateau in the north of France. It's this beautiful historical monument, and we will be staying overnight there and preparing there, and so I'm anticipating it's going to be a little bit drafty since it's an 18th century chateau, and so yeah, I want a robe that is going to protect me from any drafts. And then our wedding is actually going to take place over 3 days. We are going to have our town hall wedding on the Friday. It's just a 20-minute ceremony, and I want to wear something not as formal to that one, but I definitely want to make a dress for that as well. And then Saturday is the big ceremony. We're doing a secular ceremony at the chateau on the Saturday, and then the big party and reception, and then the next day we're going to have a brunch for those who are traveling, especially for the Americans who are coming from very, very far away. Just before they leave, we can spend a little bit more time together over brunch, and I'd like to make an outfit for that too. So lots of sewing coming up that I can't share with you right away, but perhaps the fabric shopping and things like that I can. So I'm really excited about these projects and excited to share them with you. So between traveling to Taiwan and Tokyo and then preparing for this wedding, sewing my own wedding dress, and then having the wedding, the next 6 months are going to be very, very busy. And I do still want to keep making videos. I really enjoy making these videos and sharing with you, and so I will definitely still be making videos all along. Perhaps a little bit more spaced out, but at least you know there's exciting content coming after. I'm excited for this channel and to keep sharing. So far, the last few months of creating this channel and then sharing all of my makes here has been really rewarding and a lot of fun, and so I'm excited to continue in the next year. Let me know in the comments below what you are planning for 2023, if you have any exciting projects planned or adventures or creative endeavors that you want to get to. And don't hesitate if you want to ask me any questions about the wedding as well. I think I might actually do a wedding Q&A eventually, because I do want to share this event with you and give you more of an inside look on how it's coming together, definitely for the wedding dress. But if you have any questions about how we're organizing this French-American wedding, let me know, just because it's something that fascinates me, so perhaps it fascinates you too. I have linked all of the patterns and fabric, if they're available, here in the description below, so you can go check them out. I did indeed finish my Seymour Clark top that I wanted to finish for today, New Year's Eve, and let me show it to you here. I have my microphone attached, so I can't totally show you, but I will definitely show you in more detail in a future video. I wish you all the best in the new year, especially in your creative endeavors, and I will see you again here soon. Bye-bye.